and then figured out that he's a senior from my college itself. So that's the deep background of how we got connected. Apart from that, so Hariharan is a multi-faceted personality and combines various talents with intent of making a difference in people's lives. And that's what I love about him. There's a mission, there's a clear vision of what he wants to do in his life via his trainings and workshops and motivation sessions as well. He left a well-paid job for my reminds me of something to pursue his vision of reaching out to a large number of people, and creating a world-class organization. His corporate role was with Max New York Life Insurance as a zonal training head, in which he was managing over 100 trainers. Okay, now, imagine the people whom you are training. So he also calls himself a corporate health evangelist. I have heard of a lot of evangelism, but this is something very new. Apart from that, he has his vision is to help organizations create happier and more healthy workspaces. He is an international certified trainer from SFA USA and packs with over 25 years of experience. He also started his training journey as a public speaking trainer and in the late 80s while in college. He is the founder and chief mission officer. Okay, I've heard of CPOs, CIOs, chief mission officer, which means there's a mission which is very clear of adding value. Apart from that, I think Hari, I'm going to keep it short so that I ensure that you add value and I just talking about you on this. So over to you. Can we have a big round of applause? I think you deserve that.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening.
So, though Bhavesh gave a wonderful introduction, but I'm totally convinced that he's not really my friend. Because he kept my session after Zenobia session. This is not fair. I mean, you bring in Amitabh Bachchan as the lead actor, then you are told he's a chota bhai ka role karna. So to save my reputation, should I kept my session? so first of all, thank you very much for being here, and thank you, Bhavesh, for this great opportunity. I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to talk something about the power of sales, the importance of sales, and why sales is the way in which your businesses will turn around. So I have a question here. How many of you are entrepreneurs? Excellent. Okay. So how many of you do selling? How many of you do selling? Okay. How many of you have undergone a structured course on selling? Yeah. So what has happened here? I asked you 3 questions. So what happened? What was the difference in the answers to those 3 questions? How many of you are entrepreneurs? Everybody's hand went up. Unless somebody is not an entrepreneur, most of you. Second was how many of you sell? Almost all hands went up. But some people may have teams, so they may not be directly selling. And the third question was, how many of you have actually undergone a structured training in sales? Something very interesting. When I'm doing my leadership workshops, and I ask people, so when did you become a manager? So they say, I became a manager 5 years ago, I became a manager 10 years ago, whatever. So I have a couple of questions for them. So which are the leadership books that you have read? There's a complete blank face. Nobody has read a book on leadership and they have become leaders. I'm not saying the only way to become a leader is by reading a leadership book. But don't you think it's essential? And the second thing is, I asked them, how many of you have invested money in actually trying to undergo a structured leadership training program? And there also I find a lot of people have not invested their money. Yes, they've invested companies' money to get trained. If the organization organizes it for them, then they are attending those programs. Otherwise, they are not making the effort to go and learn. So one of the things that I learned about sales and leadership especially actually are. That is that these two areas are areas which are not talent based. They are totally skill based. So my journey with selling actually started in the year 2004 when I joined the life insurance industry, which is one of the toughest to sell. And I did not join as a salesperson. I joined as a sales trainer, even though I did not have any experience in selling, because I was actually a journalist before that. So for 6 years I was a journalist and I switched tracks. I decided to build my career in training, and it just happened that a sales organization hired me. And over the next few years, I turned out to be one of the top sales trainers within the organization, even though I did not have any sales experience, even though I had not sold anything myself directly. I had not gone into the market to sell anything. I had not started my career as a salesman. Then what made me a good sales trainer? That was a reflection point for me also. Then how is that you are able to impact people and you are able to make them sell, even though you yourself do not have a sales background? And over a period of time, when in 2009, I wanted to become an entrepreneur, so I quit my profile sales, my well-paying job, and I came out of my job and I became an entrepreneur. And what is that I had to do? I had to start selling. And one of the first things I did was, I told myself, whatever you taught your advisors is what you need to start now practicing as far as selling is concerned. And I realized that sales is not what we generally understand it to be. Generally, people understand sales to be something like chipkao, something like अरे कुछ पैतरा घुमा, दो तीन बातें बता, कुछ मैनिपुलेशन कर, बिक जाता है. You should know how to talk, you should know how to impress, you should know how to position. The sale will happen, and it happens, unfortunately. But like they say, short-term gain, long-term pain. So it happens in the short term, but it causes a long-term damage. For example, so many people might be having insurance policies. I can bet if you do a survey in this country, minimum 50% won't know what policy they have bought. And if they have bought any financial product, 50% won't know what is the purpose behind that financial product. 50% of the things that we buy and people come and sell to us, 50% of the items, we actually don't know why we bought them and what purpose it actually serves, what are the service, what are the features or benefits inside. So what did I learn? I'm just sharing a personal story about selling rather than actually doing a sales workshop. We don't have a great time, I don't have time for that. But I just thought those insights might just help you to kind of relook at what selling is all about. So one of the things I realized is there is nothing called sales. And that's the biggest discovery that I made in this journey. I discovered that there is nothing called sales. There is something called buying. You do a sale only when somebody buys. So what is sales? There is nothing called sales. Sales is nothing but a process to inspire people to buy. And I'll give you a classic example of how value selling works, not just price-based selling. Many people think if this watch costs 25,000 rupees, it's a great watch. Not necessary. And if somebody bought, there are some 500 rupee watches also, which also add some value to people's life. So today morning I came out of Ahmedabad airport. And the first thing in India, the easiest thing to look for is an auto rickshaw. Because it's not very far, they are available. So one of the auto rickshaw guys came and asked me, "Saab, kahan jaoge?" I said, "Mujhe EDI jana hai." So chalenge, they never refused. So then I asked him, "How kitna loge?" He said, "450 rupees." I said, "You lost it or?" And I had already spoken to Bhavesh and he said, "They are 140, 150 तरह Uber में है." So then I checked Ola Auto and I got it for 128 rupees. Now, he lost the sale not because of the price. He lost the sale Not even because of value. There's no great value in, in terms of whether it's 128 rupees or it's 450 rupees. That's not the point. He lost the sale more because he was not honest. He lost the sale because he did not have integrity. He lost the sale because he could have charged me 150, I would have given it to him. He might have asked 200, maybe he would have still got it. And he could have told me transparently, sir, Ola Uber में आपको 150 में मिलेगा, मैं आपसे 200 लूँगा, आप चलेंगे तो मुझे अच्छा लगेगा. And he asked me after I booked my Ola, what is the cost of this? I said 128 rupees. He just walked away from there. It's embarrassing. Where is 128 and where is 450? So when we talk about value in selling, a lot of sales trainers will tell you is about the price that you put on the product. No, I think it's the relationship that you put on the product. For me, that's the value. I am here today not because of the price that Bhavesh is paying me for whatever I am doing. Actually, you're paying me for only one of the roles. For anchoring, not for speaking. It's a free with friends you can take reward. So I'm not here for the price. I'm here for the relationship. And of course, there are benefits. So I get to network, I meet few people, I got to attend Zenobia session for free. If I had to buy a ticket and attend a session, I don't know how many thousands I would have to pay. And I made some new friends and I got an opportunity to speak. So those are the added benefits. But what really matters is, we know each other for some time. So can you support each other in not only emotionally and not financially? मैंने तुमको 10,000 दिया, तुमसे 50,000 लिया, and we are helping each other. That is one level. But really in terms of helping each other grow professionally. I think that's the most important value that you create in a professional relationship or even in a personal relationship. So for me, sales has always been about building those relationships steadily, slowly, and very painfully. But those relationships will stay with you all your life. A lot of people ask me, sales organizations, and I do a lot of sales training. It's one of the things I really love doing because I saw the power of sales when I was in the insurance industry, how it transformed lives. And today I find a lot of entrepreneurs who have got good resources, but they don't want to directly go into the market and sell. They are appointing teams to sell. Nothing wrong with that. But the challenge with that is, if you are not selling yourself every day, or at least frequently enough, you don't know what's really happening in the market, number one. Second, you are not building your own skills. You yourself are not upgrading yourself, and you are not having much credibility because your sales team are asking, ये तो पगार दे रहा है, खुद तो बेचना नहीं, हमसे बिकवाता है, खुद जाके बेच के दिखाए. See, these are backroom talks. So what is happening is, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, I am actually expecting my team to do something which I myself am not prepared to do. And I find some of the best sales people or sales leaders are those people who have hit the market and they have done the dirty job. And they have gone and suffered in the rain, they have suffered in the heat, they have suffered in the cold, and most importantly, they have experienced rejection. And a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't experience rejection because they have never been on the field. So some sales people have told me, मेरे को sales में कोई problem आता ही नहीं, तो मैं उनको बोलता हूँ फील्ड में जाता ही नहीं. तेरे को problem कब आएगा? जब जाएगा. तू जब फील्ड में जाएगा. अरे तेरा लाइफ में problem कब होगा? जब तू पैदा होएगा. तो पैदा हुआ तो problem होगा. Right? How will you know happiness till you get married, sir? Yes or no? How will you know about happiness? Unless you get married. You first get married, then you will know what is happiness. Huh? This problem is going live. That's a risk to take. So, one of the most important things in sales is to experience the process. Is to experience the relationship building that happens. And the other advantage I found with being a salesperson is it builds your multiple skills. And it is a tragedy in our country that we look at sales as a very, very pathetic profession. And आप जितने लोगों से पूछ लो जिंदगी में, अगर कोई आज सेल्समैन है, उसको पूछो बचपन में उसने क्या सपना देखा, और वो बोलेगा आप लोग पता नहीं आप लोगों ने क्या सपना देखा था, कोई डॉक्टर बनना चाहा होगा, somebody might have wanted to become an engineer, somebody might have wanted to become a pilot, फैंसी सपने वही होते हैं. हमको तो छोटी उम्र में चश्मा लगे तो पायलट गया साइड में, फिर स्कूल में मार्क्स बराबर नहीं आया तो मम्मी डैडी ने बोला डॉक्टर तो कोई लक्षण है ही नहीं तेरे अंदर, और तेरा साइंस का अलग है तो इंजीनियर तो बन ही नहीं सकता. तो हमारे जमाने में आत्माराम तुकाराम भिड़े के जमाने में बुद्धू लोग आर्ट्स पढ़ते थे, अभी इंटेलिजेंट लोग आर्ट्स पढ़ते हैं. पूरा जमाना उल्टा हो गया. और and every time a salesman came to the house, we shut the door on him. और we put the latch and said क्या चाहिए? बोला मैडम पानी चाहिए. सेल्समैन को पानी भी नहीं पिलाते थे, ये डर लगता था कि कुछ बेच के चला जाए, इतना डर. और जिसने जिंदगी में कुछ समझ में नहीं आया वो बन गया सेल्समैन. और हम में से कई लोग जिनको कभी कोई अच्छा बॉस नजर ही नहीं आया वो बन गया एंटरप्रेन्योर. यार मेरा टैलेंट है, मैं भी बड़ा हैरान करता हूँ, दुखती नस को दबा देता, पता नहीं कहां से आता है ये. So what I try to tell you friends is it's a great skill to have because it builds your negotiation skills, it builds your communication skills, it builds your relationship building skills, it builds your understanding of customer types, and most importantly it makes you work hard. I remember one of the management colleges I was just doing a session and one student stood up and asked, "Sir, what is better, hard work or smart work?" I said, "First you have to work." तेरा काम अभी शुरू नहीं हुआ और तू मेरे को पूछ रहा है कि हार्ड वर्क अच्छा है कि स्मार्ट वर्क अच्छा है. तो पहले काम को कर, बाद में देखेंगे. And I find lot of entrepreneurs they don't want to work hard when it comes to selling. And trust me, working hard is not just working 8 to 8 in the morning, sitting in the office, or yeah, that is also hard work, directing your team and all that. Real hard work is to suffer the sweat, it is to suffer the cold, it is to get drenched in the rain, and the worst is to get rejected on your face by the customer saying, "I think you are a good person, but I am not going to buy from you." It really hurts. Trust me. Whether it is 10 years in sales, 20 years in sales, 40 years in sales, you will never ever be in a situation where you will not get rejected. And that builds amazing humility. It builds amazing humility. I remember I have a client in Ahmedabad and he once told me that तुम्हारा जो ईगो है उसको पैंट के पॉकेट में रखने का, शर्ट के पॉकेट में नहीं रखने का, क्योंकि उसके पीछे दिल है. पैंट के अंदर रखेगा कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. Because if you have ego, you cannot be a salesperson. And one of the most important skills in life, it's one of the world's oldest professions. Sales is actually one of the world's oldest professions. And what is amazing is, without sales, nothing can move in this world. Somebody has to buy, somebody has to sell. It starts with the milkman's delivery in the morning, followed by the newspaper guy. That's where our relationship with sales has started right in our childhood. Yet we have a very deep mindset against it. And I tell people, if you want to become rich in life, and you can't become an IIM MBA, or you can't become an engineer, or you cannot become a doctor, or you cannot become some of the other smarter professions, just become a salesman. Because it is not a shortcut to success, but it is the shortest cut to success. And that is a very powerful profession. Because if you can have the courage to sell, and it takes courage. It takes courage to sell. Because it takes courage to listen to a no. And it takes courage to listen to another no. It takes courage to listen to another no. And I have been listening to it for the last 10 years. And trust me, in the 11th year, it still hurts. But the ability to overcome that hurt and still go on the next call is what really makes you a fantastic human being, not just a good salesperson. So I'll just share with you a couple of things and then I'll close. The most important thing in being, apart from mindset, one of the most important things in being a good salesperson is the ability to learn the process. Is to have so how many of you have got sales teams in your organization? Maybe 1%, 2 people, 4 people. Yeah. Have you trained them? Not just on the products. Have you trained them on the sales process? Have you trained them how to prospect? Have you trained them how to handle objections? Have you trained them what it takes to be a salesperson?
What is my belief? First thing that I pass to my team members.
Yeah.
The client is God. So it's not like a bed in front of it. There's no ego existing in the
Right.
Because in any way you're going to him, it makes you relatively small, relatively at lower stature because you are going to be selling something.
Right.
So you have to keep your ego in the pocket and objectionable and wait for hours and hours. So this training, without this training, nobody can get the confidence. We can't get the confidence.
No, but my question is something else. My question is, if a customer asks, if a customer says, there are better products in this market than yours, why should I buy yours? Do they have a standard reply? Do they know how to answer that? Do you have those 10 FAQs? Do you have a sales manual? Do you have a calling script? You know, the great thing about Amitabh Bachchan is not that he's got great knowledge. The great thing about Amitabh Bachchan is whatever Salim Javed wrote, he delivered it as if he wrote it. It's the ownership. You know, it's the ownership. And have they actually sat in a classroom and undergone 3 days, 4 days of sales training? Have they undergone role plays? Have they undergone that rigor? You know, and have they come back to you crying? You मेरा bad हो गया market में आज. चार लोगों ना बोला. And have you been able to motivate and mentor them? So I'm not saying you're not doing that. I'm just asking those questions, you know, as a reflection. So one thing is learning. Second is, a lot of people fail in sales, not because they cannot sell. Yes, many people, see, everybody is not designed to do everything in life. So some people are not designed to sell, which is fine. So then you work on your strengths and focus accordingly. But suppose you are in sales, and many people struggle in sales often. And many people fail in sales. And you will see there are 2 main reasons for that. Apart from lack of training, which I think as an entrepreneur, as an employer, we are very deeply responsible for that. You know, we don't invest in the organizations tell me इसको सिखा के क्या फायदा, वैसे भी नौकरी छोड़ के जाने वाला है. तो मैं उनको बोलता हूँ वैसे भी जाने वाले तो हायर क्यों किया उसको? हायरिंग ही मत करो. Right? So that's not the answer. The most important thing to understand is you put the reasons to be training. But there are 2 big reasons. One is they can't accept a rejection, which really hurts. Dil pe le lete hain. Second is we don't need enough people. How many of you are having a sales or a business challenge in terms of productivity right now? And you can be honestly raising your hands. It's okay. It's a common thing. GDP is at 5%. Everybody is struggling. It's okay. Yeah? Anybody has a business challenge? Sales challenge. Okay. I am the first person to put my hand up. I have a productivity challenge. So I'm trying to sell you my program through this session. Okay. Well done. Okay. Okay. So, you know, there could be reasons related to product, market, so on and so forth. Possibly. And I'm not ruling them out. But if you see, mostly the challenge is we don't need enough people. And the best thing about India is people. everywhere. You know, in Australia, after 7 kilometers, one human being will be visible. He look like a human being, maybe he's not. But in India, after every kilometer, by the time you cover 1 kilometer, you have met a few thousand people. This is the market to do business. People still want to go and settle in Canada. I don't know what they're going to do there. This is the place. And the only secret to selling is miloge to milega. Miloge to milega. You have to meet people. If you stop meeting people, that's the end of the world. That's the end of the story for you. So if your business is doing well, meet more people. If your business is not doing well, meet more people. There is only one formula. If your business is doing well, मेरे को कोई कहने नहीं है मैं आराम कर रहा हूं, तो you are inviting trouble. Don't focus on the success or the results. Focus on the process. Stick to the process. You know, मिलोगे तो मिलेगा. And the best thing about meeting people is either of these things will happen. When you meet somebody, you will either get a sale or you will get a reference, or you would have built a relationship.